You're also going to want to take branches out where there's multiple branches competing with each other. Basically, you want branches evenly spaced out vertically and around the tree. You want to generally cut more off on the top, so you're allowing light to get to the bottom branches. You don't want a tree where they call a broccoli tree, where you have a bunch of branches on top and nothing on the bottom. You want the branches evenly spaced from top to bottom. In addition, you might be tempted to trim your bottom branches off so you have everything at eye level, because traditionally people think, oh, I don't really want branches at the bottom. However, where you have a branch coming out, the main stem is going to grow stronger. So maybe at a later date you might want to trim them off, but you don't want a whip where you've got everything on top and you've got a really skinny
trunk?
Trunk, yeah, exactly. You don't want a skinny trunk. So you might be tempted to cut. I think I'm actually going to cut this branch off because it goes vertically. But if it were more appropriate, I would leave it so that we have more growth on the trunk. So another type of rule of thumb is you want a tree spaced out enough to be able to throw a football through it. So you don't want to have enough room in between your branches to, like I said, provide enough open area for all the leaves to get light and for all your fruit to get light. So I'm going to trim this bottom one off because it's growing too vertical. Like I said, you don't want tree branches going vertical because there's going to be too much growth. So I'm going to look at this.
Once again, at the color.
I'm actually going to leave some on here and see what happens. You want to cut about 1/4 inch above a bud. So you see all these little buds here? So this bud is growing out here. So theoretically, where you cut the branch should be where it grows out. So if I cut it so that this bud is facing out, the plan is if I cut it here, then there should be a branch coming out here. So hopefully this year there'll be a nice branch coming out of here. Where you cut it above the bud, that's where your next branch is going to come out. So there should be a branch coming out and coming out here. So hopefully we can kind of have our trunk strengthening aspect here, but also have a branch that's going to be able to come out and produce fruit. You want, for apple trees, you want one main stem. So that way for apple trees, pear trees, regular cherry trees, and regular cherry trees. Now for stuff like peaches and sour cherries, you want a tree that goes more out and grows out in like 5 general directions and that way. But with an apple tree, you want one main stem. So I'm actually going to cut this one right here to avoid my tree splitting into 2 parts. So I'm going to cut it here, like we showed before, right at the collar.
Thick one, not the cleanest of cuts.
Yep, I think this one's actually pretty good. If I get another better grip on there. Obviously, I'm probably better off with the loppers. So you see, we cut it, and we still have the collar intact. So hopefully this can heal itself, avoid getting disease, avoid getting mold. So this tree doesn't look too bad. Again, these are all small trees. I planted them 2 years ago. So again, they're not going to have a lot of overgrowth. Generally, if you keep on trimming your trees, you do a little bit of work every year, then you don't get big overgrown trees where you're going to have a lot of issues pruning them. So this tree is a bit of a overgrown mess. There's a lot going on with this tree. Obviously, of all the trees that you've kind of seen today, this one has the most growth. It's got stuff going on all over the place. So again, we want to take out branches and have it kind of spaced out horizontally and also spaced out vertically. Yeah, I'm going to go take my best shot at this tree. As you can see, this branch here, it's not really growing out, so I'm going to trim this one. I'm going to trim this one off. There's a lot going on down here. I'm just going to trim that one. This one's good. I like that one. It does sag a little bit, but it is growing back up, so I think that one's okay. two kind of branches here, so I think I'm gonna trim. This. So you also don't want branches crossing other branches. So right now we got a branch here and it's crossing into this one. So I'm gonna take off the smaller one and lop that one right off. We don't want branches crossing each other. We want everything to be spaced out. I keep on using that word, spaced out.
Football apart, right?
Yeah, football apart. So you can fit a football through there, fit a football through there. And I'm just going to continue to kind of look at the branches and see spaced out. So walk over here. We've got these two branches kind of on top of each other. Again, we want it kind of spaced out, so I'm going to trim this one off right. That one's got a really big color, so I'm going to trim it a little bit farther away there. So again, we're kind of airing things out a little bit. Again, you don't want to take too much off of the tree. We're going to have to take a lot off on, holy crap. We got to take a lot off on this tree, but you don't want to take too much off because it could stunt the growth of the tree.
Working on healing too much, huh?
Yeah, and then you're kind of setting the tree back.
So why are we doing this at this time of year?
This is maybe a little bit early, but you wanna do it while the tree's dormant. So late fall, late winter, early spring. So right now we're kind of like late winter. So you don't want to do it while the tree's kind of growing because you're gonna kind of set it back. You also don't want to do it in the middle of winter because it can the tree take a little bit more to recover if you do it in the middle of winter. So basically, you want to get it before stuff starts growing. So when it starts growing, it's kind of like, all right, we trimmed a little bit, we're going to grow a little bit. So as you can see, I'm kind of spacing it out a little bit. I'm going to trim this little one off. Again, in between the branches.
I think we've got about 2 minutes left.
Oh, on the
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to continue to kind of clean it up a little bit here. Delete some of the memory. Again, we got some branches crossing over each other here. So this tree's a little bit challenging because we have a split here, so we have to kind of pick which one of these main branches we want to go with. Honestly, it could go either way. I think this one is slightly bigger at the base, so I'm going to basically just lop off this giant part of the tree here.
And we're down to a minute. Oh, cool. One cut. It's rather nice.
Yeah. I'm just going to do a little bit more trimming around here. I'm going to trim this one off because it's crossing.
As close to the one above it. That one's just across.
So as you can see, we haven't done a lot here, but we've really opened it up and allowed room for new growth and room for it to grow.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's a little bit lacking over here, but hopefully over time throughout the years we'll be able to fill this out just a little bit. We want a balanced tree. I'm just going to trim this one off because it's kind of growing down.
Alright, 10 seconds.